The 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt is the best-known ancient Egyptian dynasty. It boasts several of Egypt's most famous pharaohs, including Tutankhamun, whose tomb was found by Howard Carter in 1922. The dynasty is also known as the Thutmose dynasty for the four pharaohs named Thutmosis. Famous pharaohs of dynasty the 18th include Hatshepsut, longest reigning woman pharaoh of an indigenous dynasty, and Akhenaten, the heretic pharaoh, with his queen, Nefertiti. Dynasty the 18th is the first of the three dynasties of the Egyptian New Kingdom, the period in which ancient Egypt reached the peak of its power. Dating. Radiocarbon dating suggests that dynasty the 18th may have started a few years earlier than the conventional date of 1550 BC. The radiocarbon date range for its beginning is 1570 to 1544 BC, the mean point of which is 1557 BC. Dynasty the 18th pharaohs. The pharaohs of dynasty the 18th ruled for approximately 250 years. The dates and names in the table are taken from Dodson and Hilton. Many of the pharaohs were buried in the Valley of the Kings in Thebes. More information can be found on the Theban Mapping Project website. Several diplomatic marriages are known for the New Kingdom. These daughters of foreign kings are often only mentioned in cuneiform texts and are not known from other sources. The marriages were likely a way to confirm good relations between these states. Early dynasty the 18th dynasty the 18th was founded by Ahmose I, the brother or son of Kamose, the last ruler of the dynasty the 17th. Ahmose finished the campaign to expel the Hyksos rulers. His reign is seen as the end of the Second Intermediate Period and the start of the New Kingdom. Ahmose was succeeded by his son, Amenhotep I, whose reign was relatively uneventful. Amenhotep I probably left no male heir, and the next pharaoh, Thutmose I, seems to have been related to the royal family through marriage. During his reign the borders of Egypt's empire reached their greatest expanse, extending in the north to Carchemish on the Euphrates and up to Kirgis beyond the Fourth Cataract in the south. Thutmose I was succeeded by Thutmose II and his queen, Hatshepsut. She was the daughter of Thutmose I and soon after her husband's death, ruled for over 20 years after becoming pharaoh during the minority of her stepson, who later would become pharaoh as Thutmose III. Thutmose III, who later became known as the greatest military pharaoh ever, also had a lengthy reign after becoming pharaoh. He had his second co-regency in his old age with his son Amenhotep II. Amenhotep II was succeeded by Thutmose IV, who in his turn was followed by his son Amenhotep III. The reign of Amenhotep III is seen as a high point in this dynasty. Amenhotep III undertook large-scale building programs, the extent of which can only be compared with those of the much longer reign of Ramesses II during dynasty the 19th. Akhenaten, the Amarna period, and Tutankhamun. Amenhotep III may have shared the throne for up to 12 years with his son Amenhotep IV, who would change his name to Akhenaten. There is much debate about this proposed co-regency. Some experts believe there was a lengthy co-regency, while others prefer to see a short one. There are also many experts who believe no such co-regency existed at all. In the 5th year of his reign, Amenhotep IV changed his name to Akhenaten and moved his capital to Amarna. During the reign of Akhenaten, the Aten, the sun disk, first became the most prominent deity, and eventually, the Aten was considered the only god. Whether this amounted to true monotheism continues to be the subject of debate within the academic community. Some state that Akhenaten created a monotheism, while others point out that he merely suppressed a dominant solar cult by the assertion of another, while he never completely abandoned several other traditional deities. Later Egyptians considered the so-called Amarna period an unfortunate aberration. The events following Akhenaten's death are unclear. Individuals named Smenkhare and Nefertari are known, but their relative placement and role in history is still much debated. Tutankhamun eventually took the throne and died young. Amenhotep, the last two members of the 18th dynasty, Amenhotep, became rulers from the ranks of officials in the royal court. Although I may have married the widow of Tutankhamun in order to obtain power, and she did not live long afterward. Ay's reign was short. His successor was Horemheb, a general during the reign of Tutankhamun whom the childless pharaoh may have intended as his successor. Horemheb may have taken the throne away from Amenhotep. He died childless and appointed his successor, Ramesses I, who ascended the throne in 1292 BC and was the first pharaoh of the 19th dynasty. This example to the right depicts a man named I who achieved the exalted religious positions of second prophet of Amun and high priest of the goddess Mut at Thebes. His career flourished during the reign of Tutankhamun, when the statue was made. The cartouches of King I, Tutankhamun's successor, appearing on the statue, were an attempt by an artisan to update the sculpture. Dynasty, the 18th timeline. Gallery of images. Thutmose Nefertari. Thutmose Nefertari was the daughter of Seqenenre II, a 17th dynasty king who rose up against the Hyksos. Her brother Thutmose expelled the Hyksos, and she became queen of a united Egypt. She was deified after she died. Thutmose I, though he was called the founder of the 18th dynasty, he was the brother of Thutmose, the last pharaoh of the 17th dynasty. During his reign, he expelled the Hyksos from Lower Egypt and brought the Nile Delta under his control, politically unifying Egypt once again. Amenhotep I gained the throne after his two elder brothers had died. He was the son of Thutmose and Thutmose Nefertari. He was succeeded by Thutmose I, who married his daughter, Thutmose Amenhotep I, with his mother, Thutmose Nefertari. Both royals are credited with opening a workman's village at Deir el-Medina. Deir el-Medina housed the artisans and workers of the pharaoh's tombs in the Valley of the Kings, from the 18th to 21st dynasties. Amenhotep I and his mother were deified and were the village's principal gods. Thutmose I, a military man, he came to power by marrying the sister of Amenhotep I. During his reign, he pushed the borders of Egypt into Nubia and the Levant. He is credited with starting the building projects in what is now the Temple of Karnak. Sketch from temple relief of Thutmose II. Considered a weak ruler, he was married to his sister Hatshepsut. He named Thutmose III, his son, as successor to prevent Hatshepsut from gaining the throne. They had a daughter, Nefertari. Hatshepsut, daughter of Thutmose I, she ruled jointly as her stepson Thutmose III's co-regent. She soon took the throne for herself, and declared herself pharaoh. While there may have been other female rulers before her, she is the only one who used the symbolic beard. Thutmose III, a military man and member of the Thutmosid royal line, is commonly called the Napoleon of Egypt. His conquests of the Levant brought Egypt's territories and influence to its greatest extent. Amenhotep II. Thutmose IV. Amenhotep III. Akhenaten, born Amenhotep IV, began a religious revolution in which he declared Aten was a supreme god and turned his back on the old traditions. He moved the capital to Akhenaten. Queen Nefertiti, the daughter of I, married Akhenaten. Her role in daily life at the court soon extended from great royal wife to that of a co-regent. It is also possible that she may have ruled Egypt in her own right as pharaoh. Nefertari. Queen Mereteten was the eldest daughter of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. She was the wife of Smenkhare. She also may have ruled Egypt in her own right as pharaoh and is one of the possible candidates of being the pharaoh. Nefertari and Nefertari Tasheret. Shown here as children, they were two of 6 daughters born to Akhenaten and Nefertiti. It is possible that Nefertari was the one who may have been her father's co-regent and may have ruled as the female pharaoh. Nefertari Smenkhkare was a co-regent of Akhenaten who ruled after his death. It was believed that Smenkhkare was a male guise of Nefertiti. However, it is accepted that Smenkhkare was a male. He took Mereteten, Queen Nefertiti's daughter, as his wife. Tutankhamun, formerly Tutankhaten, was Akhenaten's son. As pharaoh, he instigated policies to restore Egypt to its old religion and moved the capital away from Akhenaten. I served as vizier to Akhenaten and Tutankhamun. He was the father of Nefertiti. After the death of Tutankhamun, I lay claim to the throne by burying him and marrying his granddaughter Ankhesenamun. After the death of I, Hormheb assumed the throne. A commoner, he had served as vizier to both Tutankhamun and I. Hormheb instigated a policy of damnation memoria against everyone associated with the Amarna period. He was married to Nefertiti's sister, NebMaatRe, who died in childbirth. With no heir, he appointed his own vizier, Paramesu, as his successor. Tia was the daughter of the vizier, Uya. She married Amenhotep III, and became his principal wife. Her knowledge of government helped her gain power in her position, and she was soon running affairs of state and foreign affairs for her husband, Amenhotep III, and later her son, Akhenaten. She is also Tutankhamun's grandmother. Bibliography. Kurt Amelia, The Ancient Near East. c. 3000-330 BC. London. Routledge. ISBN 9780415013536.